Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and the Steam Lunar Chinese New Year sale is going on right now. It ends February 11th at 12 p.m. I guess that's Central Standard Time, which is the time zone I'm in. If it isn't, then that would be a little bit weird that they're not justifying that. Now, of the Steam sales, in particular, the Chinese New Year sale isn't really the biggest of ones in my mind. It's always the winter sale, which Steam has now gotten down to the point where they have a sale in like November and December and September and October too. It's like they're basically having sales almost every month in the last 3 or 4 months of the year, but only the December sale is the really big one that matters. A lot of these sales don't have the shenanigans with the trading cards and the special gifts, where if you spend $10 you get a trading card that can make your badge, that can level you up, that can then let you have more friends on Steam. The whole system feeds upon itself and tries to push you to spend more money. I bet this is a sale that doesn't have any of that, or any kind of mini game to play, which happens. The Steam Summer Sale is the second biggest sale, and all the others are mostly ignorable. However, ever since the adpocalypse and YouTube just ruining the career paths of all small YouTubers, where they can't make money at all until they have a ridiculous amount of watch time and subscribers, my channel really has been struggling to find other ways to let people support me. And one way I ask people to support my channel is for them to friend me on Steam and give me a game on sale. So this is basically what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be looking at what's on sale right now. What do I think is a good deal off of my wish list? I have a pretty big wish list of 2,410, but that's a lot smaller than it used to be, because all throughout December I was cleaning up that wish list and removing quite a lot of games. You get $5 off your first purchase of $30 or more, so theoretically the best deal here would be to buy a game that is just barely $30. Exactly $30 would be ideal, and then not buy anything else unless there's something else that is going on with this sale. We can see, if we scroll down on Steam, they're not really pushing any, promoting to me any different games. I have noticed though that more Asian games last year were on sale, which Asian games aren't particularly heavily focused on during the winter sale. And you might find something that's Valentine's Day related. Doesn't seem like you get anything special for looking through the discovery queue, which at this point, because I look at every single game that comes out on Steam every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday while I'm playing Hearthstone, I see every game that comes out, and looking at the discovery queue is just redundant. You also receive a red envelope. That's you get usually cash in a red envelope as a gift in Asian countries during the New Year sale. It's the year of the pig, by the way, on the Chinese zodiac. So, okay, let's open this red envelope. Let's see. Lunar New Year sale rewards booth. Happy New Year. You want to celebrate the New Year by giving back? Your tokens can be redeemed for a variety of different items, including discounts, special profiles, badges, and more. Additional tokens can be rewarded by purchasing games during the sale. Rewards booth, game, Steam. Let's click that right now. Again, the rewards booth will be open until February 12th, 2019, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. So, if we had 15,000 tokens, which this thing is crashing. I have no idea why that would be. If you had 1,500 tokens, you'd add another $5 to your discount. If you redeem 4,000, your profile goes gold until the end of the sale, shiny, for 4,000 gold. Level up, extend your goldness until the end of the next lunar cycle, which would be March 6th, 2019. And then you get a badge, this new badge to display on your profile for 2,000 things. Level up your badge up to 10 times. Okay. So what of those things are actually helpful? And how many did we... I guess I haven't opened my envelope yet to see. Like, your profile goes gold until the end of the sale. That's basically nothing. Yeah. And getting a badge on your profile is basically nothing. Because let's go look at badges, like on my profile. Badges sometimes give XP, so maybe that's a little bit of XP that you should go for, but this is going to be a little dangerous too. It might get me up to like 500 XP or 1000 XP. Might, if it gets me 200, I'll go up to level 88. But that's not anywhere like the winter sale or the summer sales when you can just spend. Usually during one of those sales, I spend $200-300 on games, and it has marked me at a pretty high level, but not a really large, significantly high level. I've seen people with levels 220. Backgrounds for 1,000 tokens are worthless. I get backgrounds all the time. I try to sell them for pennies. They don't sell. I have 5 cents in my wallet right now because I sold one out of about 100. Or you break them down into gems, and you can sell the bags of gems if you have enough, but they're not really worth it. Same is true with the chat emoticons. On Steam, I don't chat. I don't know how many other people chat or have friends that chat. So let's look at the frequently asked questions. The rewards booth is a limited time event coinciding with the Lunar New Year. Tokens can be exchanged anytime up to the 12th. Are there any rewards from the rewards? Are the rewards from the rewards booth tradable? No, nothing can be traded. How can I get more tokens? You receive more tokens by purchasing games. You receive 100 tokens for $1 you spend, 111 tokens per $1 for gifts. So if you were trying to get gifts and you weren't going to gift me a game to support my channel, this would be the time to do it, I guess. You're getting an extra 11% increase in the amount of tokens you get. Why do I get a certain number of tokens? The initial number of tokens you received is based on previously purchases you made on your account. Wow, I might have your account received 5,000 tokens based on your previous spend on Steam. Interesting. Can I save my tokens for the next event? No, the tokens will disappear at the end of the thing. So we might as well use the tokens. Let's open this envelope. Then 5,000 tokens, which probably is the max if I was to guess, but also it's probably the minimum too. It's I suspect heavily a case where we would only have to spend maybe $100 on a Steam account to get 5,000, and then it maxes out also at 5,000. They just want to stop people, I imagine, from creating new Steam accounts, getting tokens, and then thinking they could do something with that tokens. Clearly I would have to buy quite a lot of games. Let's see if we can calculate this. I need another 10,000 tokens to get $5 off. To get another $5 off, that would be $100. So Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'd have to spend $100 more to purchasing games for myself to get another 10,000 tokens to use this 1,500 tokens to get $5 off. I get sales and discounts all the time, by the way, that I don't go for, because often they're like, here's a sale of 40% off or 30% off a game you've never heard of. So this is not particularly a great deal. The only thing I would say here is $5 off any game could be useful for a few games that never go on sale. So we're going to purchase this badge. And let's see. That leaves me with 3,000. Let's see if I can, what that did though. Like, badges, complete in progress, completed, Lunar New Year. That gave me 200 XP, which is not terrible. And that did move me over to level 88. But in leveling up to level 88, it didn't really give me any indication of anything. So yeah. Just as a comparison, like right now I have 50% off when ski lifts go wrong. That was just randomly given to me. 40% off a game called Robothorium. And 10% off a game called Strange Telephone. Yeah. Those are all just random things. Also, I'm sitting on a giftable version of See No Evil and guest passes for the Killing Floor that I will never get rid of. So, I guess if anybody wants any of those, maybe friend me and message me on Steam and I might do it. Also, I have this Portal hat that I can never get rid of because it's not tradable, and this, which I guess I could sell, this Gingerbread House from Euro Truck Simulator 2, which I don't even think is a game I own. So that's weird. So I have 3,000 tokens, and let's see if there's something more I'd want to think about. Well, I guess I can't go gold anyways, so the only thing I would say is for everybody is just if you can afford it, get a badge, level up the badge, and let's see if that gives me another 100 or just another 200, and that'll leave me with 800 tokens. Anytime there's a system or game with tokens, you're going to be left with some extras. It's clearly intentionally designed to be that way. Alright, and see if we look at completed badges now. Well, that put me up to 400 XP, so it seems like you are doubling the amount of XP you're getting. So if I was going to spend a lot of money, that would work. That being said, let's now look at what is actually on sale. Let's see. There's a lot of games on my wish list, so we'll get a lot of things that are with the white banner. A lot of things I already own that will be on the blue banner. And so we're just gonna look through this, and I'm gonna give my classical opinion on whether I think these are interesting games or not. Life is Strange 2. Is this the entire game for $4? Wait, really? No, it's just the beginning of the game for $4, and then the complete season is $35.84, and it's barely 12% off. So that this is one of those episodic bait and switch things, and why episodic games suck. And it doesn't seem like people are even super happy with Life is Strange 2. I wasn't even really too happy with Life is Strange 1. So my opinion certainly is going to boil down to how much you've watched of my channel, and whether you know the kind of games I like to play and like enjoy. Talos Principle, there's like a Talos Principle Gold Edition now available that just came out. So yeah, 87% off for $9 and 15%. The gold edition includes the soundtrack and bonus content and prototype and Road to Gehenna DLC. So like for me, the comparison would be this bonus content, which is just kind of like art book and pictures, and the soundtrack, which probably isn't worth me purchasing, and I probably would only cost me a couple dollars if I was going to purchase them. But if you were just going to buy the gold bundle, you probably are at a better discount to buy this for $9.15 than buy this for $6 and get the Road to Gehenna and the Serious Sam DLC, which doesn't really matter, or the prototype DLC, which I don't think really matters either. Of course, I really don't have time to go through every single game. Dark Souls is here, Far Cry 5 is here, Batman Arkham Knight is there. That must be one of the good Batmans. Warriors 4, Warriors Orochi 4, Orochi 3, maybe. Payday 2, I think I got that for free. XCOM 2 might be interesting. None of these look terribly good or bad. The more interesting ones I think you would want for sale right now are games by Chinese developers or games by Asian developers in general. Now, the problem with China, and this is a very broad, simple statement, is it's really, really big. And there's a lot of people in it, which means there's a lot of people that make bad games. Particularly, this is compounded by the fact that in China particularly, there's never been a long period of time in which games have been allowed to be imported legally and sold in China, and consoles haven't been allowed to be imported or sold. So the entire market and the entire user base are pretty much used to NES Famicom clones playing stolen or modded ROMs, just really old looking games, really bad looking games. They've gotten past that point, and now games look a little bit better, but often they're really, really random. They're just compilations of a few assets. They sometimes try to sell themselves on sex, but then they don't really have any substance there. So they're not particularly great games. And it really just boils down into a lot of products, video games and otherwise, from China that feel like cheap Chinese knockoffs, which is the phrase I often use when I'm looking at games. Now, are we going to really see a bunch of cheap Chinese knockoff games on the sale page? Probably not. But you do have to be a little bit careful with that. And beyond that, it's kind of hard to figure out what kind of Chinese game you would want. My Time in Portia is kind of a Stardew Valley Minecraft clone. Despite the fact that it had some problems paying its voice actors, it's rated very positively. You might be interested in that, but notice it's brand new and it's not even discounted. This game, The Initial, is a hack and slash game for 2017 for $5. It's probably not the greatest game ever, but it does have that kind of anime feel, anime being a Japanese thing, but China certainly likes to copy it a lot, whereas China's art style usually comes around the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Romance of the Nine Kingdoms, these ancient Chinese stories and dynasty stories that get retold and repeated over and over and over again. Quite frankly, I wish the Chinese people and artists were a little bit more creative and a little bit more varied. But they kind of aren't, and they're kind of limited by the government. The number one problem with China's gaming industry is the government. They went for months and months last year not allowing any game to be sold or approved for sale at all, just because the government didn't care and wanted to strengthen their censorship of it. So I'm looking at all of these, and like, Icy was on my wish list. It's 31% off. That's not really the greatest of discount. 50% off is not, is just barely good enough. This one called Home Behind is 59% off, and then that's kind of it. So those games, while they were given prominence, and very possibly a different person's account would be offered completely different games, nothing here looks amazingly good. I've kept my eye on this Chinese Parents game, but it doesn't really strike me as amazingly good. And remember, I imagine all of these are English language Chinese games. There's probably a decent collection of Chinese language only games on Steam. This one, Oblivious Garden, looks like it's a visual novel, but you have to be kind of careful about Chinese visual novels because they tend to be short and not substantive. There's thousands upon thousands of visual novels on Steam. A lot of them are good, but way more of them are bad and not worth it, and they all tend to be rather expensive and require you to commit a lot of time to play. So we have some local co-op options where 9 Parchments, maybe I wanted to play that. For the King, there's too many games on my wish list, and a lot of these, actually, because they're co-op games, were just barely on the wish list in the first place because I don't play co-op games with people. I only play the single player mode, so while criticizing the game. So that's things like Overcooked 2 would have to have a single player component that is worthwhile for me to actually purchase it. So even if something is on my wish list, it doesn't mean it's the highest of priority for me to play. A Hat in a Time is one game that is kind of high priority for me to play. So it's 45% off, and it's relatively new. It came out in October 2017. So that's probably a decent price considering how it's overwhelmingly positive, and really positively reviewed games tend to know that they're good and not go on sale. Human Fall Flat is a game I already own. I plan on playing at some point. And Lovers of a Dangerous Space Time, I think I got in some kind of Humble Bundle or something, and that's why I already own it, but I'm not really planning on playing that. And then Bid and Ed Bloody Party was a consideration too. So what they're offering is not even a big promotion of games here. You would have thought that there would have been a better way to sort this, or at least highlight some categories. I think we could easily go through my wish list, which is what we're going to do next, and find some other games that probably should be highlighted more and probably are on sale. So the restrictions: during the Steam's Lunar New Year sale, qualifying purchases over $30 will receive an automatic discount of $5. What is a qualifying purchase? Your first purchase of $30 or more during the Lunar New Year sale between February 4th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and February 11th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Interesting, it doesn't change it to Central Standard Time. Gift purchases do not qualify. So, while gift purchases do give you a bonus amount of tokens, they do not get you the $5 off a $30 purchase. Interesting. Alright. So now for the big ticket item. So coming to my wish list, and it's a big one, so it's going to take a while for it to load. 2,410 games, and in its current ranked order, we have games that are sort of in a order of, if it's at the top, it's something I particularly want. But also, that's not how you'd look during the sale. What we want to do is limit ourselves down to, well, we could probably limit ourselves to all types, but then filter to exclude early access games, because I don't want to play any early access games, any pre-release games, and any VR games only. Then we can also filter ourselves down to, is it on sale? Because if it's not on sale, I don't care. And that starts. So theoretically, I could go in the ranked order, but it would be easier and smarter to just go by discount or by price. And I think discount is your better move, because if we sort by price, games will be relatively low. Although the price also kind of changes too. So notice how you have this Lion Song Episode 1 Silence is $5.99 with 40% off. And The Descent is 67 cents off for $4.94. And then the next game, Zaza and AI Story, which is probably a simplistic mobile game, puzzle game, is 49 cents. The reason for that is these two games have some free demo or free version that isn't the full game, but it is tricking the algorithm here to sort it to the bottom. So if you wanted to support my channel and you didn't want to use the Patreon and say give $1 a month or more, you certainly can, through my wishlist, pick a game right now that's on sale for 49 cents. 49 cents, I believe, is the lowest price that anything can be on Steam before it has to just be free. And the reason for that is, for every purchase, I believe Steam takes 30 cents and then 10%, which would be at minimum another 33 cents on it. So of that, 16 cents potentially is actually going to the person who purchased the game, developed the game, or published the game. But I would also warn, buying me DLC for a game I don't own for 49 cents is probably not the right way to go. Those DLCs are on the wishlist because I'm considering buying Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 2, and I probably don't even own that game. So you want to be careful about that. Now, as for the percentages, 83% is good, but the percentages at 49 cents, 50 cents, as the price is slowly going up, doesn't actually matter as much, because the base price is the same. It really doesn't matter if Satellite here is 80% off for 59 cents, or if Reversion The Escape First Chapter is 59 cents for 40% off. Although that's a bad example, because I would want to get the whole game there. So let's scroll down here and see what really strikes me as something that would catch my attention and I might actually buy during the sale. Probably not a lot. Now when we go through the wish list here, and we're going to do it in a pretty fast experience, we will run into some adult games such as Mirror here, which was the second best selling game on Steam last year. So don't knock it just because you don't like it. The second best game selling on Steam, according to Valve, according to Steam, was this game. And it's on sale, 60% off for 79 cents. And it's an adult game, an adult match 3 visual novel puzzle game with RPG elements according to these tags. Let's see, Mippy is a dog platformer game for 79 cents. Ark is a bad game, but it has some small amount of relevancy. So 79 cents for a bad game with mixed reviews. It's doable, but you certainly wouldn't want to pay the full price for it. Cross Sales is a continuation of several other games that I've played from this developer. The Hex Sales, I believe, are the other games. 89 cents for a lot of puzzles. It's a pretty good deal, I imagine. Of course, I have to buy the game and play the game before I'm sure. Scanner Sombre, there's about 3 or 4 games where you play as a person who is blinded and can't really see that came out. This is one of them. 89 cents, not terrible there. Montaro is a platformer where you play as a dog. Under Leaves, nothing there. Dark Void Zero, nothing there. Sudoku Killer, I'm still looking for a good Sudoku game. No special discount really, it's just 50% off. Here we have a visual novel adult game, probably. If it has a bunch of anime girls on it, it probably is. I have yet to figure out how I'm going to cover any of those games if I do, but I do want to support the industry. And so, if you wanted to do me a great favor and gift me a game, gifting me an adult game is actually very nice, because then I can buy that, own that game. Both you and I at that point would be supporting the industry, because money would be going to the developers of that game, and I wouldn't, at the moment at least, have a great way where I could make footage and review it. So I might say thanks for the game and then play it on my own time. I might say thanks for the game and not play it at all, or just play it for a very short amount of time. I might say thanks for the game and play it all the way through, and then make a different kind of video that doesn't even have any footage on there, like a brief just audio review. I haven't put enough thought into that, and it's just not been a big focus right now. But it probably in the end would mean I would have to talk less and work less to make footage, and certainly that would help giving me an excuse to not wear out my voice or overexert myself. This is a point-and-click adventure for 99 cents. That's probably a decent deal. Although the LucasArts point-and-click adventure games, so the Indiana Jones games, Maniac Mansion games, a lot of those have just recently been added to Steam, so I'd say get those first. These two are also point-and-click adventures for 99 cents, so I could probably buy a decent collection of point-and-click adventures for $1 each, which isn't too bad. Here's a good deal. Reigns Her Majesty for $1.01. This is something that came out December 6, 2017. I hear it's a lot better than the original Reigns game. So $1 is like asking almost nothing for it. Let's see. Here's, I think, a big name visual novel for $1.19. Here's a Dreamcast Nights game. Peggle Knights for $1.24 might be a little bit high. There's another XCOM game. There's quite a few of those. I figure I'd probably do a series on XCOM games. Here's an Aliens vs. Predators classic game for $1.24. A lot of these games have been on sale before, too. A lot of old Bejeweled and Peggled games are pretty cheap. 1 second, I'm gonna take a break. So, let's see, is there anything major here that I want to point out? Because for me, a lot of these games are also the same games that were on sale in the summer sale, so not a lot has changed. Jade's Dungeon Descent, another game that is at least Chinese Asian in feeling. The problem with the Lunar New Year, and knows how Steam is calling it the Lunar New Year and not the Chinese New Year, to be ultra inclusive and not just say, oh, it belongs to China and China alone. You could certainly focus on a lot of Asian looking games and promote them a lot more, and we're definitely not seeing that. Shenzhen Solitaire part of broken out solitaire game from inside of Shenzhen.io is $1.50 if you just like the solitaire game. Visual novels probably are your best bet right now, quite frankly. Nico Para. Recent censorship rules have added concern to these Nico Para games, and also several other adult anime games developers, and so they're afraid that Volume 4, which is in development, might have to be censored or not come out at all. That's a big deal that's happening with the PlayStation, and the Steam store. Although, to be fair, at least in the past month, the Steam store hasn't had any major blow up of rejecting or trying to censor any games. It seems like they either worked through it internally and just didn't put out any kind of apology or announcement, or they've put everybody under a strict gag order so nobody's complaining about it now. So, Drake and the 99 Dragons, one of the worst games ever. But again, Asian, so, or at least it feels a little Asianish, so you'd think it would have been more highlighted. This sale page that we looked at before this really does strike me as kind of a low effort game. A low effort page. They really didn't spend a lot of time on it. Karateka, $2. But also a lot of these games are not majorly discounted, so I wouldn't be surprised if people really weren't on board with this. A lot of Asian countries don't do PC gaming as much as they were doing PlayStation gaming, so PC is kind of new, and a lot of Asian countries in particular, Japan in particular, loves to have their prices and for their products be really, really high, so discounts are kind of out of the question a lot of times. Whereas I think games in the West, in the United States, game developers know that there's a lot of competition and that they will race to the bottom, particularly if their game is not super interesting or unique. So the thing here is there's kind of no tag for Eastern style games. There should be, but there really isn't. There's no way to say, hey, I want to play something like this weird looking game, The Starry Midnight remake, versus I want to play a much more Western game like Dragon Age Origins. At best, all Valve can do is run comparison searchers and say, hey, we have an identified person who only buys Western games, and we have identified a person who's only bought Eastern style of games, and we can compare those two people's library and filter that way. And even that would be pretty inaccurate. At this point, we are at the $202.79 price, if I can read. Here's Ark: The Great Escape, which is another one in the series, and see, that's rated very positively, which is the relevant reason why owning the other game is somewhat viable. If I was trying to get all the games in the series, I would probably sort by alphabetical. That's probably the best way to do it. But a lot of research has to be done, certainly, to buy some games. More research than is realistic. Let's see. Am I really seeing anything that specifically feels like it's really on sale or really should be on sale for the sale? It's a lot of the games on here are just not particularly in that vein. It's a shame. I wish there were more Chinese games. See, here's one that looks Asian, but almost certainly everything that I say looks Asian is it's probably Japanese. It might be Korean. The odds of it being Chinese is really low, or any other Asian country. I really would like to see a just burst of great games come out of China. There are a lot of people in China, so theoretically there could be millions of really good programmers in China. Unfortunately, they're so restricted by their culture and their government, they're not allowed to have any creativity. It is kind of the polar opposite of what you would have in Japan, which call me a weeaboo Japanophile if you want. In Japan, outside society, outside appearance is extremely restrictive, but they are very forgiving and very ignoring of whatever you do in your own home, in your own privacy, and in your own art. And so they have this whole culture of anime and manga and movies and TVs and ridiculous TV shows and ridiculousness like that. So you get that. I think also, to be fair, Japan has had a long period of time in which magic mushrooms were not illegal, and people were taking that, and that probably affected how creative they were. Certainly, it's possible that a lot of the creatives in Japan even now are taking magic mushrooms, and that's where you might get something like this game, Love at First Sight, which is like a one-eyed Cyclops monster girl visual novel. So, yeah. On the other hand, I think in China, you probably could be creative in your own mind, but you probably couldn't tell anybody about it. You probably couldn't make a manga. You probably couldn't make a comic book or a TV show or a cartoon or anything like that. It wouldn't get approved by the censors. There's no hope, there's no possibility that that would ever happen. China's new social credit score would probably ruin you and ruin your life if you even tried before you got anywhere close to that. So it is just this black hole of creativity, generally speaking. Every now and then you might have a good thing, but it mostly is a black hole of creativity. And so you want to celebrate, as a company, Steam wants to celebrate the Chinese New Year. They want to do something because this is the part of the year where Asian people are feeling like they're going to get lucky, or feeling like they're wealthy. They want to purchase gifts, they want to give gifts, they want to purchase things for themselves. They have all kinds of little, this will bring me good luck, this will help me over the course of the next year. Little superstitions, good luck superstitions. You want to try to be in with that in the same way that you would want to try to have a sale around Christmas in the Western world, because that's the time people are buying gifts, that's the time people are feeling generous. But I don't know what you can really sell. Like this Umahari Kawase series is a pretty well-known Japanese platformer series. There's like 4 of them. It should probably be highlighted. Again, it's Japanese though. As for Korean games, there's a decent amount of Korean horror games coming to Steam, but it's small and kind of slow going. Koreans mostly are more focused on mobile games right now other than PC games. But eventually I think we will see more of them as they grow and continue to make good products, or relatively good products. Like, here's the initial that we saw that was promoted. I don't see any real reason why that game was promoted over any of the others. And it's 50% off for 49 cents. I imagine the developer or publisher of this game paid Steam in one way or another to be promoted, because I wouldn't pick the initial. I think there's better games out there. Here we have a visual novel, Go Go Nippon, My First Trip to Japan. So maybe that'd be a little bit too on the nose. Fortune Summoners is a Metroidvania platformer, that says. Here's Yomawari Night Alone, another Japanese horror game. Let's see, Battle Chess 2, I guess, is a Chinese chess game that nobody remembers. That could be promoted, but it really wouldn't get any sales. Steam would really want to promote the top of the line games. So if they were going to do this and they were really going to promote it, they should just be promoting the top tier games, the AAA games that are coming out. The only other thing, I guess, is since it's the year of the pig, you could think about maybe making some pig related games, but there aren't that many games that have pigs in it. There was one game I played where there was a character that was a pig or a human that kind of acted like a pig. I forget the name of that game though. It wasn't that memorable, I guess. And it was based on a Chinese folklore with the same folklore that Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball was based off of, with Goku and the Nimbus Cloud and the staff. So that game could have been promoted. It's not a great seller or anything. You could promote the relatively recent re-releases of the Princess Maker series on Steam. That's a daughter-raising simulator Japanese game that was on PC a long time ago. It's tagged nudity, but it really isn't a sex game or an adult game. There's like a overblown, overemphasized option for nudity there for no real reason. It could be easily censored, edited out, or ignored and not played with. Tokyo School Life, Arcane 3 Love Max, I believe, is a shoot 'em up game. Nope, it's a fighting game. You could go fighting games, certainly. You could have done quite a few. Street Fighter characters have Chinese people, Chinese fighters. So yeah, things like Street Fighter and SNK and all of that would be very, very appropriate. You could go with some of these JRPG style games. Certainly they would sell well. The Yi series being an example of that. Let's see. There is an Assassin's Creed side story that is set in China. I think it's just called like Assassin's Creed Stories or something China. Maybe you could put out Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon just because there's dragon in the name. Here's another Ima Harakwasi game. Yeah, there's things on sale, certainly, but they kind of are just the same games that would have been on sale anyways on any sale. So it's just kind of an excuse to spend your money wherever you want. I guess that could be nice if you had something on your list that you absolutely wanted to buy right now. Just buy it while it's slight discount. Because there's not really showing up a great argument to buy something else. Bladed Fury, maybe. And see, at this point we're hitting $7 games that are barely 30% off, and because of that, it's probably not really worth it to scroll down this way. This was the first game, negligee, first game to be completely uncensored to release on Steam, and then Steam did like a 180 after that and said, hey, we are not going to censor anything, but we're also going to not allow some things. And then they weren't ever being clear so far as to what those some things were they weren't going to allow. Yeah. So the next way you'd want to search, if you're searching by price and you don't find anything in your own personal wish list or mine, would be to just search by discount. These would be the games that theoretically you're never going to get anything better. I have seen some games that are 100% off. I've seen some games that are 95% off, but in general, I think game developers and publishers can set a maximum discount, and a lot of them do set it at 90%. So this game, Zombie Terror Night, probably never going to get below this point until they change their base price at some point in the distant future, and then it could get down a little bit lower. Whereas this game, Iron Ball 2 Iron Storm, which is an Arkanoid clone I was thinking about trying, is at 49 cents, which is, I think, the lowest you can get a game down to. So, looking at it this way, it becomes a question about sorting through games that are mediocre compared to games that are highly discounted that are good. And you can do that by reviews if you want, but even reviews only tell you so much. Like this Edna and Harvey point-and-click adventure game for $1.49 is probably the best I'm ever going to get. Same is true for Night of the Rabbit, which I think is a spiritual successor or a spiritual predecessor to Edna and Harvey. Let's see, what else catches my eye here? Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter was not hugely well received. It's only 74%. 85% off puts it down at $7.50. I think that's probably a pretty good price for this Sherlock Holmes games. Sherlock Holmes games tend not to be particularly great anyways, but this one was not even that good. Whereas I think I Am Bread at $2 is still a little expensive, but you may never get better than that. I'm thinking about getting into fighting games, so Blaze Blue, this Blaze Blue of so many different possible Blaze Blue games at $4.49 might be an entry point there. I'm thinking about covering some old Sega Dreamcast games. That's why those are there. Here's another Blaze Blue game for $3. This is like another game where you're blind and wandering around for $3. Trine 2 for $3, not too bad. Let's see. There's a whole series of these games called Quell I was thinking about playing. They're relatively cheap. That doesn't make a great deal. I'm not sure if this horror jump scare game Sophia's Curse is worth playing or not, but it's reviewed pretty highly. That inherently doesn't really tell me a lot though. Mippy, Distraint, a Scapegoat, the Worms game, or the first Worms game probably in the series, for $1.59 is still a little expensive, because if you're going to commit to owning like all the Worms games, you're going to pay a lot of money to get that entire collection. And if you're not going to commit to owning all the Worms games, then you probably just want Worms World Party or whatever the most recent Worms game is that's good. And you kind of need friends to play those series anyways. There's some point-and-click adventure games that I did see that I think will catch my attention. I might spend $30 on a bunch of them, but I'm not really sure that there's a ton of anything too special here. Ooh, okay, here you go. Galgun Double Piece, 80% off for $7.99. Now, to be fair, you probably are going to have to spend a lot more to get all the DLC you would want with that. But this also might be a game where one DLC kind of overrides the other DLC. So you may only want to buy one piece of DLC, if any, for it. Galgun Double Peace is a anime, like, lewd on-rails shooter game. It says it's a visual novel. That's not really accurate. And this is the first one, not the sequel, I'm pretty sure. Guilty Gear is another fighting game. Free sale quest for $2. Probably not a bad deal there. You don't get a lot of free sale games on Steam. Of course, you could probably play free sale for free on any Windows PC. So it has to offer a little bit more. Manual Samuel for $2. Let's see. South Park 2 is $11.99. That's probably a decent price. I don't know if there was a season pass on that. This Game Journal is always on sale, but it's always on sale for a little too much for what it is. Castlevania Lords of Shadow, I actually need to buy that game, so that should be a high priority. If I could just click and add it to the cart right now, I would, but that'll take me away from this page because I've already covered Lords of Shadow 1. A bad Resident Evil game, if you want to play and cover all the Resident Evil games, is discounted. More Guilty Gear. I believe this is a point-and-click adventure game for $2.50. Watch Dogs 1 is $6. Castle Crashers for $3 is probably a great deal. Escape Data, not really worth it. Crypt of the Necrodancers for $3 is a great deal if you have Rhythm. I probably should take this off my wish list though, because I don't think I could actually play it. I'm just gonna fail miserably because I have no Rhythm. Miasma. If you have a butt fetish and want to look at a character that's a robot with a giant buttocks, Haiti is the game for you, and it's discounted to $2.99, so that's not too bad. Worms Armageddon on sale also. I bet all the Worms games are on sale, but they're slightly a different level of prices. Mighty Number 9, a bad game, maybe with some relevancy though, so $4 might be worth it, maybe not. Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zero. I don't know if I'm ever going to play any of the Metal Gear games because I'm not sure entire complete collection is on Steam, but it seems like at least the base game is $3.99, which is pretty decent price considering how much content you'll get or how much gameplay you'll have. But you kind of have to know that's the end of the series, and you may not be able to play the previous parts of the series. Here's a baseball game for $3.99. That's not bad. Duke Nukem Forever, a relevant but awful game for $4. So a lot of these are just bad games on sale. Watch Dogs 2 for $12, at least the base game is. I'm not sure I really need to play any of the Watch Dogs series though. Yeah. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on if they ever announce a third game. Here we have a stained glass puzzle game. Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. I already own the original version of Bulletstorm and I didn't get a free upgrade. Nobody did. So $10 to buy a game twice that is only slightly improved over the version I already own is probably a bad deal. Here we have a puzzle game for $1.24. That's a good deal. The Escapist is probably worth $4.49. Doesn't really interest me too much though. I'm not even sure I want to play Dragon Age Origins. Like, a lot of these games I've just not done enough research, even Even though I've done a lot of research, I'm just still not sure I want to play him. Here's an old Judge Dredd game. There's a couple of old Judge Dredd games on Steam. Shadow Warrior 2 for $10, not too bad. Fable Anniversaries, not a great discount there. Okay, here you have War for the Old World, Overworld Underlord Edition upgrade. That, I guess, is an upgrade to something I don't own yet, so that might be a good discount, but it wouldn't help me. Evil Genius is an old game for $2.50. I'm not sure I really need to cover like the third Saints Row game, or if I need to go back and play them all, or just the most recent one, or the side story ones. A lot of that also comes back down to if they announce they're ever going to make another Saints Row game. Here's another bad Sherlock Holmes game that's not 3D graphics for $2.49. Here's a point-and-click adventure game that's mixed for $2.49. Here's a puzzle game. I don't have this game on this account of Steam, so that would be a double purchase for me. So if somebody was to gift me FTL, that'd be super helpful and super nice. There's only about 5 games I've covered on my channel that were on a different account, so I'm just trying to fix that. If you like old school Apogee games for $2.50, that probably is good. Although, like, these are really old games that you would have to have nostalgia for Apogee to want to purchase, and they are a premium because of that fact. They probably should be like public domain free games at this point if copyright law worked the way I would like it to. Quantum Break for $10, maybe not. Trine 3 for $5.50. Man. The thing is, particularly in the winter sale, I purchased so many games that I wanted, and it filled in my initial desire list so much that I'm only down to like brand new games I'd like to cover and a small handful of games on my wish list that I still don't own, and that's usually because they're not discounted much. For instance, Prototype 2 here is still $10 even at 75% off, because it's just marked up its base price by so much that even if it is a major discount, percentage wise it's not really a major discount purchase actual price. And Injustice, do you really need to play an Injustice game as a series? Or do you just do the Mortal Kombat series, or do you just not play either one? I think for a lot of people it's down to the point where you don't play one. Here's another game where you play as a blind person, but it plays completely differently, so it's not in that same category. I'd like to buy that. Let's see, you probably could get Deus Ex Mankind Divided pretty cheap. And 75% is still a good discount, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to make these streams and these videos, but I think we probably hit that level where even at 75% discounts, there's really nothing here that strikes me as this is a top tier, you should buy it now game for my wishlist. And a lot of that just comes down to the fact that I already own so many games that I want to own. Tales of Berseria, an interesting one that I don't want. Here's another Judge Dredd one. So at 75%, it might be easier to go back to the ranked order and look at what's on this discounted and what do you really want to buy. Like Snake Pass is one that I've wanted to buy and play for a long time. It's 60% discounted, so not really a high number. Sinran Kagura, another game series that potentially is going to get censored out of existence. if we're not careful. Onishambra may already have been censored out of existence because I haven't heard that they're making any more of those in a while. Yeah, this ranked order works a lot better, frankly, because these are the top tier games. Tabletop Simulator for $10 is probably a decent deal. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for $11.99. You buy some DLC on that, but that's probably a decent price. I bet you probably won't get a Kiba's Trip any cheaper than $15 ever. Yeah, after I did all of that work to sort out my wish list here, it's easiest just to look at ranked order. These are the top tier games that I would like to own and cover. But some more Lego games. Lego games at $20 are not great discounts, but eventually they get down to $10. I'm playing the prequel to this game, 60 Seconds, right now, and I'm not really enjoying it greatly, so I don't think I'd buy this. I may remove that from the wish list. This is a niche, relatively new game that is out, so it's $26.99 and only 10% discounted, so that's better than nothing, I suppose, if you absolutely have to play that game right now, but it's not really a great discount or a good discount at all. Detention is a Korean game. It could have been highlighted, definitely. $5.99. Darksiders 3 is 30% off with its mixed reviews. Cradle is a game I've wanted to play for a long time. Dragon Ball Fighters is 60% off. They should have highlighted that too. Dragon's Lair as a series, you know, it has a dragon in it, so New Year makes some sense there. What else? Yeah, it's so much easier to scroll through this. This is the order I'm gonna scroll through going forward when making these videos. That being said, I'm not sure how helpful any of these videos are because it's just kind of me shopping, and one thing I try to do on my YouTube channel is if I'm spending time and energy on my YouTube channel, let's make some footage out of it. Let's take people on the journey with me, even if it is just a shopping trip through Steam, which I totally would get if people are not interested. A lot of people are not interested in seeing that. I just imagine there might be a few people out there that are interested. And if you're new to PC gaming, if you don't have your own Steam account or you don't have a wish list that you've spent 3 or 4 years working on like me, then this could be helpful. Just quickly going through these. Let's see. But even at that, it all just really does come back to the same feeling where there's really not a lot that goes on discount that I'm also super interested in buying. Of course, if I was really gonna add everything that caught my eye here, then I would still probably be able to easily spend $300 in this sale. Although that's not my intention, I'm probably gonna just spend $30. And when we look at what is discounted and sort by price and look at the bottom, you can see the highest priced games are 20% off, 30% off, and still reaching $40 in price. Like We Happy Few, for example, definitely not worth $38.99. But Monster Hunter World might be worth that even on PC with its problems. Some of these games that are AAA games may just never get a better discount than that. Shadow of the Tomb Raider for $30. That's a game that almost certainly would go down in price. And there's no big issue to play that. Now, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, that's That should have been promoted as an Asianish game. Yeah, they kind of are in a weird position here where if they promote Asianish games for the Chinese Lunar New Year, they won't be Chinese. If they promote Chinese games, they'll all be terrible games, and there won't be that many of them. I suppose there would be a way to search by language if we could find that, and you could potentially sell that way. Let's see. Recommended. How could you search by language? Games. And see if I click back here, as I'm trying to wrap up. The icons moved around, but it's really the same collection of games. So the only thing I guess I could type in is Chinese. So if I type in Chinese and then see, narrow by language, see all. Simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese. And then if I remove that, then you could see games that are in Chinese or have Chinese translations, but that doesn't really help anything because all the AAA games still have Chinese and Chinese translations. So you have to search Chinese. And then at that point you take out the languages, because it doesn't matter to me if it's in Chinese or not, because I can't read Chinese. And you'll get a lot of games that have Chinese characters in front of them. In fact, China has been, because there's been that lockdown from the China government of approving any games, they've been doing quite a lot to put games on Steam this past few months, past 6 months or so, compared to not really trying to do that very much at all. But that doesn't really help you. Total War, Shogun, things like that. You're really just not going to be able to Shenmue. Shenmue is 35% off. Why not Shenmue 1 and 2? Why is that not being promoted? Yeah, so I'm disappointed in the sale, quite frankly. $5 if you spend $30 is a decent deal. This is a total joke. Going gold seems to me to be pointless. But getting the badges upgraded kind of makes sense. That being said, I would need another 2,400 tokens, which would require me to spend, I think, another $24 probably to get that. So maybe I can level up my badge one more time, getting any of these chat emojis up. And I guess there's a slight danger of having pig emojis in your chat, because there's at least two ways immediately in my head I think you could spam a pig emoji and be either be very offensive by it. If you're chatting to a female and you're spamming pigs, if you're chatting to anybody of any religion that finds pigs unclean or offensive and you're spamming pigs, that could be offensive too. So I wouldn't be surprised eventually if those pig chat emojis are not allowed. Although I don't know if that's a big deal in Steam. Well, that's going to be it for this stream. Lunar New Year sale does give you the opportunity to save $5. It does give you a couple of badges. Some things are on sale. If there are some games that you found that are really discounted that you want to highlight, put them down in the chat. I imagine there probably is a large number of games that I already own, and that might be part of the factor here, but I really can't think of any of the games that I own that would really fall into the category and the theme of a Lunar New Year sale to be promoted. That's going to be it for this stream. As always, I ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos, because that helps me with YouTube and tells them that my videos are worth watching. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. That's helpful for backup notifications. And if you want to support me even further, there's two ways to do that. There's a link to Patreon where you can support me on a monthly basis for as little as $1 a month, or you can make a one-time gift to me via Steam, via purchasing something off my wishlist, or just gifting me a game you want to see me cover, even if it's not on the wishlist. Also, if you click over here on the gift cards, you can gift that. That's super helpful too. If I had more supporters that had gifted me money in gift card form, I would be certainly spending it right now to buy a few of these games that are on sale. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.